for a newer band like yourselves, you've been around for a few years now, but the debut full length is coming. How is this whole pandemic COVID thing affecting a band like yourselves?
You know, as far as the release goes, we planned everything out so far in advance. Like, we've had the record done for over a year now, I think. So, I mean, like, we really took our time trying to, you know, plot it out, get it set up so it would be, you know, really fluent, really easy.
Sure.
And then as everything happens, or it seems to happen in my life, it's just like, all right, awesome, your ducks are in a row, you've got it together, you're ready to drop it, let's start. And then, boom, worldwide pandemic.
Right.
No travel, no groups of more than 10, shows are canceled, no touring. You make money from touring? Sorry. Here's an unemployment check, you know? Right. It's like, it's crazy. And, you know, I work at Guitar Center too, so, you know, that in Virginia, at least where we live, it's like, you know, most retail stores are shut down. It's, as far as the release goes, it's really kind of, it hasn't really slowed us down. Like, we're still planning to release, you know, as we were.
Right.
It's just, as far as like a release show and, you know, like touring on the record, it's getting a little delayed. But,
Gotcha. Because the record comes out, what, next week? A week from Friday, I think.
10 days. 10 days from now.
Common. And, dude, there's so many good songs on this record. It's such a good collection of music, and it's diverse too. You know, so
thanks, man.
You got it, man.
That.
Yeah, it's not the same song over and over and over and over again.
No, that's something we really tried to kind of pay attention to, and like, you know, not try and just write the same song like 100 or 10 times in this case. You know, I think we've always been kind of good at that, is just kind of avoiding writing, you know, something that sounds super similar over and over again. Like, we don't even like to reuse verses.
Really?
If that makes sense. Like, we don't even like to reuse like the same chord progression for a verse in one song.
Wow.
And it's funny that you say that, actually, because at least 4 of the songs on the record have the same like chord progression for the chorus.
Gotcha.
So,
interesting.
I mean, it's 3. It's not 4. It's 3. But
well, I mean, there's more songs than that on the record, so I mean, it's not like it's an EP and it's like every song has the same chord progression, stuff like that. I mean,
So with the single that we put out last year, Wander, we used that chord progression.
Oh, okay.
And we were just like, man, that rocks. Like, so I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know?
Right.
But you know, you don't want to overuse your tools, right?
And you guys just released the single you released on the 1st is actually one of my favorite tracks on the record. Shrunken Head is one of my favorites.
I love that one.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun to play. Actually, that was the one I hated the most.
Really?
In the studio. Yeah.
Why?
It seemed so I grew up playing like a lot of really articulate like metal songs. Like, you know, the first songs I was learning was like, you know, LP1 Metallica, you know, like Kill 'Em All.
Nice.
So like super fast riffs, and then you know, kept going from there. And so I was always into playing like stuff that was super fast and intricate, and you know, just to like it was boring. It was boring to me. It was the same thing over and over again, and I was like, dude, we got to do like a breakdown or a bridge or something in here. But yeah, I hated that one in the studio, but then once we finished it, I love that song now.
It's so good. What was the difference?
It's really different listening to it versus playing it.
Okay.
So like playing it is fun just because of like the groove and beat to it.
Right.
Listening to it is fun because it just, the way it's mixed and the way it's produced and everything just hits you right in the face every time.
Is it that way with a lot of songs? Just with bands in general, where is it different listening to it than it is playing with it? I mean, like, do you have songs that you like to listen to that you don't necessarily like to play?
From my band, or
yeah, with you guys. With you guys.
Mostly on the new record, probably. Yeah, so that one, track 5, Shrunken Head.
Right.
The track after that, for me, isn't very fun to... Isn't really necessarily a lot of fun to listen to, just because it has a lot of it's got a lot of deep meaning behind it for all three of us.
Sure, that makes sense.
But it's a ton of fun to play. Like the chord progression in the chorus, I do this weird like spider chord walk down thing under the vocals, and it's really hard to play and sing at the same time. But yeah, that was a ton of fun. Yeah, it's really challenging. I have this like weird bridge riff in like right before the last chorus maybe.
Okay.
And it's like a Kill Switch Engage riff. Mm-hmm. You'll hear it. It's track 6 on the record. It's called Feel Love.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that one is a ton of fun to play. But I don't listen to that one in my spare time. Gotcha. I don't really listen to a lot of my own music in the spare time.
I feel like a lot of bands are that way because you spend so much time recording it and putting it together. You spend so much time with it when you're making it that like
I think it's because like we finished it about a year ago, and for like the first 3-4 months that we had it, we had the mixes and we had the masters. And then, once we had the masters, I think I listened to that for 3 months straight, just looking for problems. Just to be like, God, what did I screw up?
That's how I would be too.
What did I do wrong?
Yep.
And so now I've kind of just burnt myself out on it a little bit.
Gotcha.
Even though it's not even released yet.
That's how it is with me with like just music in general, because I get so much music in advance, obviously, but like when an album has been out for like 6 months, I'm like, can they release something new? I've been listening to this nonstop. Like, we need something
exactly.
new.
It's like when The Story So Far put out their last record, what's it called? Proper Dose?
Mm.
Somehow one of our friends like found it leaked somewhere, and we got it early.
Nice.
Somehow. I don't know how, but I listened to it for like it was a couple weeks before, but it was always just on repeat. So when it actually came out, I was like, yeah, cool, I can listen to it on Spotify now. But whatever. I've heard it.
Right. It's like, man, it's a great album, but it's you get so burned out so fast on music sometimes, but then like out of nowhere you just fall in love with it all over again, man.
Yeah, exactly.
What was the difference between, obviously you guys signed to the label, you're with Open Your Ears now. What was the difference between doing Fully Grown by yourselves and doing, Find Sense, Feel Love, Make White for a label? Was there any difference at all?
Well, so we did the record before the label was even in the picture.
Oh, okay.
So we had it. Yeah, we had it done by the time we were kind of talking to different labels and stuff.
Gotcha.
Which, I mean, it was really cool to have, a finished record to kind of take and shop around to people and just be like, hey, this is what we got. What do you think,
Right.
Versus, if we had done that with Fully Grown, I mean, we might not, we probably would have got laughed at a little bit. It's like, you know those memes? It's like you versus the guy she tells you not to worry about.
Yeah.
It's like so I'm Fully Grown, and then here's the new record over here. It's like, well, who's that guy?
Right.
But I mean, it was a weird process for me, just because I had never really been involved with talking to labels or talking to whoever. Like, hey, let me sell you my masters.
Right. Yeah. That would be interesting.
That was kind of an interesting experience for me.
Well, I would assume it made it easier that the record was already done, because you hear all of these stories about the label coming in while a band is recording an album or when they're already done, wanting them to change it up. I assume it made it a little bit easier because you're like, nope, this is what it is.
Yeah, this is what you get.
Yeah.
here's this record.
Right.
Yeah. No, I haven't had to do that process yet. The whole label comes in while you're recording, while you're writing and everything.
Right.
It's just another voice.
Yeah.
Another
more input. Yeah.
Yeah, but luckily with Open Your Ears, I mean, brand new label, so we're dealing with pretty much one guy.
Oh, that's good. That helps too.
Yeah, it's super, it's super face to face, super personal. I mean, like, he lives here in Richmond where we live, so it's just super easy to communicate. He doesn't have a lot of bands on his roster.
Those are the best labels, the smaller ones.
It's great, I mean, I hear, we've got a lot of friends that have been doing it for a long time that are, super jaded and, oh, this label, screwed me for this and that, but it's like, it's really nice to kind of have what we have now.
Exactly. One thing that really stood out to me that I thought was really cool is the album title, Find Sense, Feel Love, Make Light. Those are also 3 songs on the record, which is really, really cool. Was that kind of a chance thing? Did the album title come like last with you guys, or did you name those tracks? I mean, how did was that just like happy coincidence kind of?
That was, so we had finished the record. We were in Texas.
Gotcha.
We were on tour with our friends in Nominee. And it was kind of like a Texas tour with just 2 dates elsewhere.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, we kind of used their house as like a central hub, and we'd drive to the different cities in Texas every day.
Nice.
But we were hanging out on the patio of their house one night, and there were, I think, 4 songs that we hadn't named yet. And we had decided what we were going to call. Well, no, we hadn't. So in the end of track 9, the last lyric, the last sort of verse run of that song is find sense, feel love, make light, in that succession. Did I use that word right? Is that the proper use? Succession?
I think it's used either way. I've always said secession.
Yeah. So it was in that order. That's how it was said on the record. So, and it was actually me that thought of it while we were sitting there. I was like, why don't we, we have 4 songs that don't have names. It was track 1, 4, 6, and 9. So, track 1, we named that Tempest because it means, I think it means like a giant storm kind of thing. Gotcha. And that song has a lot to do with like, kind of internal weather. If that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
Like mental sort of states and how it relates to weather and everything.
The chorus on that song is fucking amazing too.
I love that one.
Oh my god.
I love that one. I appreciate that too. Yeah, that actually took us a while to nail down the melody for that one.
So good.
We had a totally different one before we even went in to do the vocals, and it was super high, it was uncomfortable, nobody could sing it.
You guys went the right way on this one.
Yeah. We ended up changing it up, and thank God, because this one slaps way harder than the original one did.
Nice, I love it.
But yeah, so we named track 1 Tempest, and then I was like, so at the end, there's that run that says find sense, feel love, make light.
Mm-hmm. What
we can do is we can call the record Find Sense, Feel Love, Make Light. Track 4 will be Find Sense. Track 6 will be Feel Love. Track 9 will be Make Light.
Nice.
So instead of having just, a title track, we have 3 of them, which, I mean, that makes, it's just, that's probably one of my proudest moments of, just my creativity.
Yeah.
Is thinking of that, because, it was really cool, kind of, it was almost like a realization. Like, it was always there. We just needed to realize what was going on.
I noticed that late, too. Like, late into listening, I was like, wait a second. Those are song titles.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like right there, but like, it's subtle and it's right there at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, the whole album itself is about, kind of a self-realization and like, learning more about yourself. Cause I mean, we're all in our early 20s. Like, I'm 22, Pat's 23, Matt just turned 24.
Oh, I would love to be that age again.
Well, he he turned 24 last year.
Nice.
I don't know how old Matt is. Anyways, but yeah, we're all in our early 20s relatively. So it was really just about, 20s, your 20s, especially your early 20s are really the time to kind of get to know who you are and like, what you want out of life and everything. So this album has a lot of self-realization. So I don't know, it was kind of like a weird sort of like kind of crazy moment when we were like, whoa, why don't we do this? Because it was kind of like we were realizing that about this thing that's about realizing ourselves, So
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot to. I think that's why I connect with the album so much. Is there's just a lot for fans to latch onto and sink into, and really kind of like make themselves reflect on themselves with. I feel like, and it's just every song has its own identity, but also flows well with the other tracks. And it just works really well. And the album art's another one. I mean, it's a really interesting cover. I mean, was there any significance to any of that stuff on the record cover at all, or where did some of that stuff come from?
So that the artwork for the record, all of the artwork, as far as the cover for the singles, the front and back cover of the record, those were all done by our friend Joe Lopresti from the Insides. I hope I'm saying his name right, but I'm not sure. Yeah, Joe from the Insides. He's at Evil Sister Art on Instagram. And if you get a second to check out his stuff, like he just does collages and stuff like that.
Nice, we'll plug it.
Yeah, he's absolutely awesome. So we sent him the record and we said, listen to this and go crazy. Basically, like we told him, as far as like, different kind of color schemes that we wanted.
Right.
And that kind of thing. We picked out colors, we said this kind of imagery, this kind of vibe, but more or less just use your creativity, show us something cool. So we got a lot of cool stuff back. We ended up landing on what we have now just because, I don't know, part of it seems a little symbolic with just like the different parts of it. Like, there's at the bottom, like on the foreground, there's the crowd with the guy that stands taller than the rest of the people. And that's kind of an idea of like, finding your individuality because, all the people in the foreground are looking one way and this guy's standing above all the other people looking the complete opposite way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, not running with the pack, kind of just finding who you are and, sticking to that.
Right.
The target and the flower, I don't know what the symbolism of that is. It's just kind of cool.
Yeah. It's like a hypnotizing flower almost. It's like one of those old school like Vertigo like hypnosis looking things almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
it's really cool. I like it. It made branding super easy.
Nice.
For the record.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
It was, I mean, I've been, this whole, like, quarantine thing, I've been working on nothing but merch and,
nice.
Like, merch items, stickers, that kind of thing, and
nice.
The target is all over the place.
As a photographer, I love the person with the chick with the camera and the off on the side.
That's really cool. That's funny, because I actually didn't notice that the lady with the camera was on the cover until we got the actual records shipped in. I looked at it and I was like, who is this? Like, when did she get here? Yeah.
Nice. And that's the first thing I noticed. That and obviously the crowd. The flower I noticed, but I honestly didn't notice the little target thing up until recently. So I feel like it was the other way around with me, which is man. There's just so much to digest with this record. I mean, it's so. I mean, I've listened to probably 3 or 4 times yesterday and today alone. Just in love with it, man. You guys knocked it out of the park. Definitely, man. You guys knocked it out of the park.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely, man. New record.
We tried really hard. We put a lot into it.
Well, I mean, for what it's the debut. It's the debut full length. So, I mean, you're going to put a lot into that. But it's out on the 17th. Are you guys, obviously with this quarantine stuff, are you guys like starting to like write again and stuff like that? Or what, you're working on branding and merch and stuff like that? I mean, what does things look like right now for House and Home?
I haven't really, to me personally, I haven't really been writing a whole lot recently.
Right.
I've mostly just been kind of doing my own thing.
Yeah.
Just art stuff and, making merch, that kind of thing.
Yep. It's a good time to do stuff that you either always wanted to do or don't really have the time to do. Stuff like that. It's like a good checklist time, kind of. So.
Yeah, exactly. As far as the other guys go, though, Pat does a lot of work with other bands. He does, some writing with them. He demos stuff for people around town. So he's kind of always writing, whether it's for our band or not.
Gotcha.
But you know, it's funny. I listen to so our label owner Adam is friends with Shane from Silverstein.
Nice.
He did some work with Silverstein for a while. Not really sure what he did with them for that time, but he's really good buddies with Shane, and I've listened to a couple episodes of his podcast, Lead Singer Syndrome.
Nice.
But there was it was an episode with Landon Tours from The Plot and You, where he was like, you know, I do writing sessions and, you know, kind of produce for other musicians, and he was talking about how he wrote 2 songs for this guy, and then when they were done, he was like, dude, I'm so sorry, you're gonna hate me, I have to keep this for myself. So like, it kind of makes me wonder how often Pat writes songs with other bands and other people and just ends up keeping them.
Oh, that's perfect though. That's
yeah,
perfect.
It's great.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, and as far as Matt, our drummer, goes, I mean, he has a laptop with Easy Drummer on it, but I don't know how much he's used it. I just kind of set it up for him and got him working with it like a couple weeks ago. So I don't know how much he's done, but
yeah, for like the first 2 weeks, I was just sat around and just did nothing. I was like, I've got to get productive. I have to. We've got to do something. You know,
you got to find something to do, or else you're gonna go crazy.
Yeah. So, dude, thank you so much for taking time today. I really appreciate it. Debut album,
absolutely.
House and Home, 5 Cents, Feel Love, Make Light, out. What? Next Friday? The 17th? Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, if you haven't listened to it yet, everyone out there, check it out. Album kills it. It's a killer record, guys. Check it out. Dude, stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully we'll see you out on the road when all this is over.
I will try my best. And yes, you'll see us very soon, as soon as the government lets us.
Exactly. You know, tour dates are gonna pop up everywhere.